Round for Round Boxing, in association with BWTM Sports. Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. Check it out. www.roundforroundboxing.com. Okay, so Canelo versus Golovkin 2. The press conference has just been completed, or just a few hours ago completed. Both fighters have arrived, and the rematch is only a few days away. It seems like it's been a long time coming, this fight. We knew the fight was meant to happen in May. We all know that Canelo had issues with the meat or the beef, and now it seems we're finally going to have a fight. This, for one of the biggest fights of the year, is a real letdown for me. You've got two fighters now in Golovkin and Canelo, both guys who are earning a hell of a lot of money, both elite fighters, both the top of their game, and a press conference, which, you know, that's the pinnacle of boxing, a press conference, and then the weigh-in, and then the fight. Yet both guys are not prepared to do a face-off. It is incredible, unbelievable. I do not understand why this is happening. It is strange that this is happening, that two fighters are not even facing off. It's not to say that, you know, the two guys have rolled around on the floor and had a bad fight or had a fight or something. It's not that all the case. The fact of the matter, it seems to me that these two guys seem to be a law unto their own. The fact that they can just roll up to a press conference, and then when at the press conference, not put much effort into what they have to say to one another. I haven't got much to say to him. I haven't got much to say to him. And then there are fans paying for this stuff. And we wonder why the sport is in the state that it's in. Not only that, so the face-off is a key thing for boxing. So both guys get up and they walk off. The second thing is, you've got Canelo through the interview, being interviewed. Person speaks to him in English, and he responds in Spanish. I'm like, what the hell's going on there? I mean, he can understand what you're saying in English. He responds to you in Spanish. Golovkin, on the other hand, I don't know how long Golovkin's been around, and you know, he's now well known in America now. But you would have thought by now he would have making the effort by now to speak fluently and confidently. But no, in the background of Golovkin, there's a guy whispering at him, whispering every word to him, translating for him still. And I don't understand. It's not like Golovkin can't speak good English now. These are things I don't understand about the sport. And I don't understand it from two of the leading fighters in the world. These are two of our best, showcasing. And it's just the lack of effort from both fighters is absolutely disgusting. And this is supposedly a pay-per-view event. This is a sold-out event. And it's moments like this, I don't think, that does the sport any favors. I mean, you look at the UFC and the way the UFC are doing things, the way the UFC are promoting the sport. Yeah, I understand the UFC for boxing fans. They don't want to hear that. But I'm not going to do any breakdowns tonight for the fight, because we've got tomorrow, we're going to have our crew in and they'll be talking about the fight itself. But just thinking about this and just taking this in for a second, boxing fans. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that high-profile fighters like Golovkin, two of the best fighters in the world, Golovkin and Canelo, a unified champion in one, a guy close to being undisputed champion, unbeaten, you know, considered pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, isn't even making the effort to do a face-off? I don't understand. Or even an effort to try and speak English. Or even when you're making an effort to speak English, you've got a point where somebody's in the background still whispering in your ear, like if you don't know how to have a conversation. I don't understand it. I see stuff like that really grates me. But I'd love to know what your opinion is on this. Okay, moving on. While we talk about this, the other thing that crossed my mind was Fury versus Wilder. People are saying the fight hasn't been officially announced. I think because I saw something today on Showtime. And on Showtime, I saw, it was an advertisement. It was the build-up for Fury versus Wilder, All Access, and it was in November that they're going to start showing this. And I thought to myself, I think the only reason possibly that Warren hasn't announced the fight yet is because of all the Golovkin Canelo, and he doesn't want to get caught up in Golovkin Canelo stuff, because really nothing else at this point in time matters but Golovkin Canelo. Get that weekend out of the way, and then next week, after the, you know, whatever happens, then they can announce the fight between Fury and Wilder. That's my thinking. That's my hope that this is going to happen. Also, let me just hold up a second here. Also, let's also talk about the fact that, you know, Amir Khan fought over the weekend. A lot of talk about Khan and, you know, whether he's shot or not. He has been out of the ring for a long time. He's come back. His first fight was against I can't remember the guy, Le Greco. Knocked Le Greco out in, 40, 50 seconds. Now he fought Samuel Vargas in a fight that he could have got knocked out himself. Apparently now that Khan isn't the fighter he once was. His movement isn't the same. He's now not moving around the ring the same way. He's now planting his feet more. And for a guy who's not the most durable in the world, it's not really the smartest thing to be doing. It's clear now, it's evident that he has no intentions of fighting Kell Brook. Particularly now, because after what's happened with him in that fight last night, or the other night with Kell Brook, it makes you wonder, after being knocked down like that, Khan's not dumb. He knows that there is every eventuality, every possibility that if Brook hits him, he might not get up. So what would you rather situation? Getting knocked up by a guy you can't stand, or getting beat by a guy that's going to bring you a lot more money to the table? I remember Khan saying something years ago. He said something along the lines of, I'm not going to give him a payday. I'm not going to give him a payday. See, fans are allowing Khan to get away with this. And fans need to start voting with their feet and start saying, you know what? I ain't turn up to see you fight unless you fight Kell Brook. The fans are the paying public. So I think it's time that, you know, to make these fights happen, the fans need to put more pressure on fighters. They really do. And networks need to start putting more pressure on fighters and say, look, we're not going to buy this fight. We're not going to buy that fight. We want you two to fight. So it's either you two guys fight or you're not getting a TV deal. And I think something like that needs to happen, because we're missing out on big fights. And it's not like the sport of boxing. People say the sport of boxing is in a great position. Really? It's not in a great position, because all the big fights we want, Joshua Wilder. Now, Wilder Fury, not sure if that's going to happen, but I do believe it will happen. But the Joshua Wilder thing, how many months were we hearing about that for it not to happen? You know, at least most of the time with UFC, when they're going to have a big fight, they make it happen. The best are fighting the best, either week in, week out, month in, month out. We are, you know, the time when the best are fighting the best generally now are in these tournaments, these World Boxing Super Series tournaments. So, in reference to Khan versus Brook, it's long in the tooth. Khan, to me, is a shot fighter. I don't think he's got much more to offer the sport. Yes, he's still got the hand speed, but I think his legs, for me, are shot in terms of, you know, him being able to move around the ring in the way he needs to. His defense is not getting any better. So he is getting older now. And I think that I'm not sure how Khan's been living his life outside the ring, but it looks like it's catching up with him. And we've seen it inside the ring. So it's going to be interesting. So coming back to end this off with Canelo and Golovkin too. I see there's a new belt that's on by Mauricio Sullivan's put up a new belt. I think it's important that boxers, promoters, managers, that they understand that they have a responsibility, that they are not only promoting the sport in a manner which is clean and a manner which is good, but also that they're doing the best that they can to ensure that our sport, the sport of boxing, is every time it's been promoted, can not only be seen as best light, but we can be getting and squeezing every ounce of goodness out of it. And what I mean by that is every ounce of promotion, and not having a face-off in one of the biggest fights of the year. I'm waiting until the weigh-in is absolutely ridiculous. I just think that not only that, for photographers, photographers who've traveled miles to get that shot of those two facing off. You know, I just think that, again, there's no thought in that. It's just very much themselves and the divaness in it. I just think it's odd. You know, the biggest moneymaker in boxing, Floyd Money Mayweather, the most paid, highest paid athlete in the world. Could you imagine him not doing a face-off? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. But anyway, that's it. That's it for me in regards to Canelo versus Golovkin 2. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. And what are your thoughts on this whole Golovkin Canelo? Do you think that Golovkin and Canelo should be doing a face-off? Do you think they should be speaking in English? Do you think it's important that they make an effort to try and speak English as to the biggest boxers, elite boxers, and around? Do you think it's important? Do you think it hurts the sport, or do you think they should be allowed to conduct interviews where people are talking to them in English, they're understanding English and speaking another language, or in Golovkin's position, still having somebody murmuring in his ear after how many defenses of the middleweight title? I don't know. All seems to be odd to me. Should Khan be forced to fight Brook? And do you think it's the fact? Do you think it could be a fact? It could be that Warren is waiting until next week to announce Fury versus Wilder. Love to hear your thoughts. I'm out of here. Take care.